Friday night softball on Long Island. We've got a good one. From Bill Edwards Stadium, it's AFP softball featuring the Chattanooga Steam and the New York Rise on the Varsity Media Sports Network. And a pleasant good evening, everybody. Welcome into the broadcast booth. She's Maria Tribal Peace. I'm John Perez. Maria, the playoffs are only a week away, and for New York, they want to get off on the right foot.
You know, they showed some great signs in that series against the Spark. They took game 2. If they can bring that offense here tonight, they'll be all set. Yeah,
for New York, it was a little bit of a frustrating series. They lost 2 or 3, and it was funny because it was 3 different barn burners, so to speak. It was a 5-1 victory on game 1, and then a 12-7 victory for New York in game 2, pieced by a 6-1 loss to Oklahoma City. And with that said, let's see the moving images from yesterday afternoon. It was a game that was postponed 12 hours, and we'll pick it up in the first inning. Kinsey Hansen with a 2-run home run gives Oklahoma City the 2-0 advantage. Then a couple innings later, now a 3-1 game, top of the third. Yvonne Whaley hits it out to left. Ashley Treeweiler can't make the play. It's a double for Whaley, and that gives OKC a 4-1 lead. Now up 5-1, Riley Bayless with a runner on second. She goes shopping at the gap. That makes it a 6-1 Spark lead. OKC in cruise control. Going to the 7th inning, they bring in their closer, but Riley Blampede pokes it to right field. 2 runners score. That makes it 6-3. Here come the Rise, and that will bring up Ashley Treeweiler, the best hitter for the Rise so far. Gives it a ride, but the ballpark holds it. OKC wins the series 6-3, the final. Well, we mentioned Ashley Treeweiler, and she had a heck of a series. She's one of our impact players to watch today, and you could say that she has been the impact player of the year so far, and perhaps one of the MVP candidates in this league.
I mean, just take a look at those numbers. 5 for 10 with 2 home runs. I asked her earlier in the week, what does the ball look like right now, a beach ball? And she just chuckled. She is seeing everything so well. And Sammy Williams, 4 for 10, 2 RBIs as well. She's also hitting the ball, and that's what the Rise is going to need tonight if they want to beat the Steam.
Well, the one demerit for Ashley Treeweiler was that she went 0 for 3. There she is on the left. In the game. So that snapped a 15-game hitting streak. However, she still has a 15-game on-base streak. So for her, that's something to keep an eye out for. And Sammy Williams is in the lineup. She's batting 5th. Let's meet the whole lineup for New York as well. Treeweiler at the marquee. She'll lead it off with Jenna Laird batting 2nd. She's at short. Alex Honnold's in center field. She bats 3rd. McKenna Smith is in the hot corner with Williams at 2nd base. Caroline Wong, what an impact she's been. She'll be behind the plate batting 6th. Batting 7th, Nicole Mendez, the Oklahoma Sooner. Riley Blampede gets the start in left field, and Sydney McCrae back in the lineup for the first time since Monday night. She's there in right field. So that's New York. Let's meet the Chattanooga Steam. They haven't played in about a week, and they've got a new acting head coach, Amy Davidson. And for Chattanooga, this is a team that has 2 of the most decorated college softball players in recent history, and we'll start with Morgan Smith as well as Kaylee Tao.
Morgan Smith can literally do it all. She plays center field. She's incredibly fast. She'll come in and pitch, and she'll throw in the upper 60s, and oh my goodness, at the plate, John, she is incredible. She can hit the ball to all fields and with power. And speaking of some other great hitters, Kaylee Tao from the University of Alabama. She's taken some time off from playing softball, but picked up right where she left off, hitting .314 at Alabama, and she's doing just as well here in the Pro League.
Yeah, those are 2 players to keep an eye on for this entire series for the Scenic City. And let's meet the starting 9 for the Steam. TJ Webster will start it off. She's the shortstop with Kaylee Tao batting 2nd. Sarah Mosley's in the hot corner at batting 3rd. Sydney Kuma in the cleanup spot at 2nd base. Morgan Smith in center field. Aaliyah Logaleo is out in left field. Say that name 3 times fast. Haley Busby in right field. Allie Cummings is the DP batting 8th, and Kaylee Phillips is in center field. We spoke to both coaches before the game, and they gave us a couple of keys and a couple of things to keep an eye on for in this one. And you know what? They seem pretty similar every single game, and I know that it could be kind of a boilerplate thing here, but either way, the keys to the game tonight, Miss Tribal Peace.
The Chattanooga Steam, they want to turn it around. They've lost a few in a row, and the biggest thing is limiting some of those mistakes. They have a lot of first-year players on this team, and they've been able to stay in games through 5 innings or so and then lose it. So just trying to finish out games and limit some of those mishaps. Now, for the New York Rise, you got to hit like they did in game 2. We talked a little bit about it already in this broadcast. And then also just not allowing people on base. Walks were a problem against the Spark earlier in this week. So that's what they need to do if they want to have success tonight.
It is the Steam. It is the Rise. Starting lineups and first pitch when we come back on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs, or call 516-403-2050.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
New York Rise fans, at this time, we would like to acknowledge our good friends at Hofstra, New Balance, Wilson Azure Transportation, Vincent's Clam Bar of Long Island, Erica Cole Salon, Polsky Sports and Entertainment, Sprint Station, Catcher Matrix, and Lululemon. We appreciate all that you do to help support pro women's softball in New York. Rise up. And for all those teams out there, let Varsity Media help bring your games to life with our sportscast. From multiple camera angles, play-by-play coverage, instant replay, graphics, and more. Varsity Media is ready to broadcast your sport. With our YouTube channel featuring more than 33,000 subscribers and over 6 million views of content. That's a lot of eyeballs to help you get noticed. Contact us today to learn more at varsitymedia.net or any social media channel at Varsity Media. With that said, we send it down to the field to our PA announcer, Harlan Freeland, for the starting lineup between the Steam and the Rise.
And here are today's starting lineup. First, for the Chattanooga Steam, the reserves, number 4, Leah Bob. Number 6, Brooklyn Maxwell. Number 15, Taylor Sanders. Number 18, Brooke Yanez. Number 14, Ashley Rogers. And number 55, Kyle Egan. And now, your starting lineup for the Chattanooga team. Batting first, the shortstop, number 3, TJ Webster. Batting second at first base, number 12, Kaylee Coe. Batting third, the third baseman, number 33, Sarah Mosley. Batting cleanup, the second baseman, number 9, Sydney Kuma. At center field, number 7, Morgan Smith. Batting 6, number 16, left fielder, Aaliyah Rogelio. Batting 7th, number 17, right fielder, Haley Boozy. Batting 8th, number 23, the designated player, Allie Cummings. And batting number 9, number 88, the catcher, Kylie Phillips. And pitching for the team, number 8, Shelby Walters. Head coach for the team is Amy Davidson, assisted by Brandon Carr and Katie Thompson. All right, Rise fans, let's make some noise. Now let's meet your New York Rise. The New York Rise will be accompanied tonight by our anthem buddies, the Howard Beach Lady Cardinals. First the reserve for the New York Rise, number 22, Lane Malkin. Number 6, Kayla Lyle. Number 9, Ryan Henry. Number 12, Haley Ford. Number 20, Sarah Cornell. Number 42, Courtney White. Number 8, Mariah Lopez. And number 24, Laura Crane. And now your starting lineup for your New York Rise. Batting first, the first baseman, number 50, Ashley Seeler. At shortstop, number 3, Jenna Laird. Batting third, number 25, center fielder, Alex Hunnell. At cleanup, the third baseman, number 21, McKenna Smith. Number 7, the second baseman, batting fifth, Sammy Williams. Behind the plate, number 66, batting sixth, Caroline Wong. Your designated player, number 11, Nicole Mendez. In left field, number 26, batting eighth, Ricky Blackeye. And number 99, your right fielder, Sydney McRae. And pitching for the Rise, number 29, Denise Sells. The head coach for the New York Rise is Crash McRae. And Crash is assisted by Tony Marie Valeriano and Lisa Ianson, Coach L.I. Tonight's umpires are Mario Calabrese at first base, John Cambridge, and behind the plate, Alex Lee. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able. Please remain standing and remove your hats to honor America and those who protect our freedoms with the singing of the national anthem. Tonight's anthem will be performed by Syosset New York native William Herbert. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies ripped where the bombs bursting in air gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say
Herbert with the singing of the national anthem, and what a great rendition as well, Long Island native. It's a Chattanooga Steam and the New York Rise. These two teams meeting in the Scenic Cup tournament, and it was an 8-4 victory for the Rise. That was back on June 20th. And what's interesting about Chattanooga, they're a team that they haven't played in a week. They've only played a handful of games this year, but either way, it's a new organization, a lot of rookies, and a very interesting squad.
Well, I think it's just an exciting squad because when you have a lot of rookies and a lot of first-year players, it's just going to make things fun, right? Everybody's trying to find their footing. There's not as much pressure, right? You're just trying to figure things out. And I think that, you know, they come into this season, they're excited to be here. We're excited to watch them play. And also, it's just amazing to see more new teams being created to grow this game of pro softball.
100%, and a great first pitch as well. And for the New York Rise tonight, and immediately posted as well. And the New York Rise celebrating Disability Pride Month as well. 30-plus league of YES members to attend the pro softball game here tonight. So another initiative that the Rise are out in the community about, and I'll tell you what, they're just hitting it out of the park on all their initiatives, really spreading the word out, and the inclusivity as well.
Well, I think inclusivity is so important, and then you just have so many different people getting the opportunity to experience softball, and then softball getting to experience the different members of this community where they're calling their home.
So as New York gets ready to go here on a Friday night, last 3-game series and home series of the regular season for the Rise, as they are looking to get off the snide. 7-9 on the season. And they'll turn it over to Shanice Dels, trying to snap the losing streak. And Dels getting the start after pitching just a couple of nights ago. Went 3+ innings against Oklahoma City. About 4 runs on 3 hits, 5 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And I'll tell you what, if you're a pitching coach, that last series certainly has you up in knots as well. A lot of walks in that ledger, and there you see the stats on Dels. Control will be at the top of the scouting report today.
Well, that's the great thing. It's a new series. It's a new night. It's a little bit cooler here tonight as well with the nice breeze, and I think that's something that will certainly help the pitchers because, I mean, we saw it in that Spark series just how much it was affecting different people that stepped into that mound, and so I think that maybe that weather will have a little bit of an impact, but again, that's a huge key that we already talked about in the open is limiting those amount of walks, not just Shanice Dels, but the New York Rise staff as a whole.
Chattanooga in the Road Blacks with the purple socks and white piping on those socks as well. Scenic City, it says on their chest, New York Rise in the home whites, and TJ Webster from Western Kentucky to lead it off for the Steam, and the first pitch of the night is outside, and we're underway. TJ Webster had one of the most decorated careers at Western Kentucky. Finished top 5 in career hits, stolen bases, and assists. And tries to lay down a bunt and misses 1-1.
Well, she's just so quick. You see her having the ability to either drag bunt, slap. The infield is pulled in very tightly because she gets down that line so quickly.
1-1, and that pitch just misses 2-1.
It's a nice spot on the outside part of the plate from Shanice Dels. I'd like to see her keep throwing it there, maybe move it just an inch inside.
And on the ground to the left side, and that eats up Jenna Laird. It was a tough hop as Laird charges it, and Webster's aboard to lead off the game.
The thing is, though, even if Laird fields that cleanly, there's no way she's getting Webster at first base. That's exactly how Webster wanted to place that. Chops it hard into the ground. She's a leadoff single for the Steam.
And so that'll bring up one of our impact players, Kaylee Tao from Alabama. And for a lot of these, you would assume, pro teams, you've got players that have stood warm and have played professionally. And for Tao, it really hasn't been the case. She graduated 2 years ago from the Crimson Tide, and now one of the veterans, even though she doesn't have as much pro experience, she's had a lot of college success and looked upon as one of the leaders of this Scenic City team.
Well, I think it's just the kind of athlete that she is. I remember when she was a freshman at Alabama, and everybody was just talking about how she carried herself as an older player because she just knows how to lead.
Runner goes on the delayed steal, and Webster steals the base. That's what she could do so well. Like we mentioned, top 5 in Western Kentucky history in stolen bases. In fact, she's a 2-time first-team all-conference selection for what she's been able to do on the bases as well in the Conference USA.
And you want to capitalize on your strengths as a player and a team. So this team, they're trying to figure out ways to win games, create some chaos on the base pass, especially with somebody like Webster who can really run. And here's the great thing about that as well. You have Kaylee Tao up to bat who, has a little bit of pop. She can hit it to both sides of the outfield. So I think that now you have a runner in scoring position for one of the hottest hitters in the Steam lineup.
2-2 hit right off the shoe top of Dels. Caroms all the way over to Sammy Williams and gets her out. So just your routine 1-4-3 put out as that moves Webster over to third.
How about that play, though? I mean, Kaylee Tao hits this ball right on the button. It goes right off of the foot or shin, it looks like, of Shanice Dels. Sammy Williams doesn't miss a beat, though, keeps that ball in front and makes a nice throw over to first base.
Williams, only the 3rd game that she's been playing at second base since joining the Rise, and now Dels will go out there to talk to her catcher. Well, we have a break in the action. Let's see the rest of the defense as well for New York, as Dels just needs a couple of moments to get her footing back, and the trainers will come out to take a look at her as well. But defensively, Riley Blampede moves from right field to left field with Alex Honnold in center and Sydney McCray out in right. Ashley Treeweiler comes in from left field. She's at first base. You just saw Williams and Laird. McKenna Smith and Caroline Wong behind the plate with Dels in the circle for now, hoping that she could shake off the rust. So Dels gives the thumbs up, and Sarah Mosley steps up to the plate and takes a fastball on the outer edge, 0-1. Mosley was someone that you were very excited to see in person as well, the Georgia Bulldog. 2023 Softball America 3rd Team All-American, but behind in the count 0-2.
She had a fantastic career at Georgia, hitting .324 in 2024. She also had 20 home runs, so a lot of pop in that bat.
Infield comes in on the 0-2, set up high and away. 1-2.
But it's a great job by Shanice Dels. She gets hit in the shin or foot, we're not exactly sure, and just comes right back and gets ahead in the count against one of the team's best players.
In the dirt, 2-2. You're right, certainly the conditions are a lot more comfortable, and the wind blowing in from center. Chopped on the ground third base side, but rolls foul.
I mean, this is the perfect time to play in July in New York, right? It's 7 p.m. first pitch. The sun's starting to set, but it's not cold, but it's also not blazing like it was at noon yesterday.
We saw a few times yesterday for Maddie Penta and Amber Pfizer as well, the pitchers for OKC, requesting new softballs because of the perspiration.
It's definitely a lot less humid tonight, too.
2 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Bounces in the dirt, skips over Wong. Here comes Webster, and she scores the first run of the evening. Talk about manufacturing a run. Webster, the stolen base, heads up base running on the wild pitch. She scores 1-0 Steam.
Our game is so focused on the long ball all the time. I just love the way that Webster created this run on her own. She uses her speed to get on first base, doesn't waste a second, stealing second, and then on that hit or ground out from Tao, she's so aggressive going right to third base and literally created that first run for Chattanooga.
Mosley keeping the at-bat alive. 3-2 pitch. Popped up right side. Ashley Treeweiler in foul territory. Makes the catch. 2 outs.
That's a big out for the Rise. Mosley, as we already said, one of the best hitters on this Chattanooga team. Dels got ahead in the count and then just kept with it, right? Forcing Mosley to pop up.
So that'll bring up Sydney Kuma with the bases loaded and a 1-0 Steam lead. And the pitch poked foul. 0-1. Third time on this homestand that New York has conceded a run in the first inning as Kuma takes inside. Kuma from Georgia, 2023 NFCA third-team All-American and Softball America second-team All-American. Drew a lot of praise from Amy Davidson, who we spoke to before the game. Hits it on the ground at third. Smith is up with it and slings it across the diamond. And the inning is over. But Chattanooga strikes first. And midway through the first, it's Chattanooga 1, New York coming to bat on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs or call 516-403-2050. Bottom of the first inning, a 1-0 lead for Chattanooga, as the Steam will send Shelby Walters to the mound. Walters from Cahuta, Georgia, started her career at Duke and then was a Georgia Bulldog as well. And what an arsenal she has in the circle.
She's had success pretty much everywhere that she's gone. She's going to throw that ball between 68 and 70 miles an hour, so another flamethrower stepping onto the mound here in New York. She'll mix speeds effectively, though, and her biggest thing is she has a drop ball that she's going to be able to use on both sides of the plate.
Yeah, at Duke, she was a 2021 All-ACC first-teamer, All-ACC tournament selection as well. Transferred over to Georgia, where she was a preseason All-SEC and a top 50 watch list for the 2024 USA Softball Player of the Year Award. And she brings it and has a 1-0 lead. And this should be a fun matchup right off the jump, as it will be Walters and Ashley Treeweiler, who just ho-hum 5 for 10 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs against arguably the best pitching staff in the league.
And you know, the thing is, too, she's one of the most humble athletes that you'll meet. Every time you talk to her and just tell her, wow, you did a really good job, you're hitting so well, she just kind of smiles and says thank you. She's just so humble and just so locked in right now, and has been really fun to watch.
And the first pitch of the evening for Walters, in there for a strike to Ashley Treeweiler. I think 491 on the year, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs. Out of Grand Canyon, one of 2 Grand Canyoners on the roster, her and McCray. And the count 1-1.
That's a good spot from Walters to go there again after getting that first pitch strike call. We mentioned that drop ball. You're seeing her use it there in those first 2 pitches.
1-1. Healthy cut, 1-2.
Brought that pitch a little bit more up in the zone. Treeweiler tries to attack. That's her philosophy when she's at the plate, right? She wants to hit early in the count. She said, look, when you get to 2 strikes against some of these pro pitchers, then they can really mess with you. She doesn't want to leave it to chance. And
she's not one-dimensional either. She's not afraid to slap, go the other way, and shorten up her swing, or even choke up. 2-2. Treeweiler, a 2-run home run and a 3-run home run in the 12-7 victory Tuesday night. A long night of softball that was. In between those home runs, or before those home runs, an hour 9-minute rain delay, and that's lined into left field, a base hit. And Ashley Treeweiler picks up right where she left off. The leadoff single.
This was an off-speed pitch on that outer half of the plate. We mentioned how Shelby Walters uses different speeds and mixes them in. Ashley Treeweiler choked up a little bit and just poked that through that 5-6 hole to get a leadoff base runner for the Rise.
Jenna Laird, local product, and Mizzou Tiger. Up high, ball 1. Laird 2 for 7 with a walk and a run scored in 3 games against Oklahoma City. Hitting .306 on the season. No home runs, 4 RBIs.
Walters doing a really good job of painting the corners here. Even when she's not getting a pitch called, she's not just leaving it right over the heart of the plate. She just moves it down an inch, moves it in an inch. That's what you want to see from a pitcher, and that shows her level of maturity as well.
1-1. 2-1 as that misses off the plate.
And I like how disciplined New York is being right now at the plate. It's early, but both Treeweiler and Laird not swinging at anything that they don't think that they can drive.
Well, they say patience is a virtue. It was also the name of the series against Oklahoma City. As that hits the outside corner. New York rise as a team collectively. 18 walks as a pitching staff. Oklahoma City with 14. So both of those teams very selective. Two to Laird. Slam down the left field line, and that'll go foul off the pole.
How about Walters, though, also just changing the eye level? We talked about her changing speeds, but she's utilizing that drop ball on both sides of the plate, and then she comes up with that rise occasionally just to kind of keep hitters off balance.
SEC versus SEC. The pitch. Rolled foul, wide of first.
Another pitch on the inside part. This one jams Laird a little bit, and I would like to see Walters throw that just one more time. Maybe move it slightly in a little bit more, see if you can get that swing and miss or a weak ground out to first base.
And we see the signals coming in from the dugout. Brandon Carr, as that's flicked foul down the left field line. So Amy Davidson named the interim head coach with Brandon Carr, who was already the assistant coach remaining on as well. In fact, it was Carr who was the coach for Amy Davidson back in the day as well. So cool to see her as the head coach now. But the game being called from the dugout, and that's usually the reason for the delay. And there's Carr. 8th pitch of the at-bat. Runner goes. Hit on the ground to first. That eats up Tao, and everybody's safe. Tao boots it. First error of the night for the Steam, and runners on first and second and nobody out.
You see those in-between hops get infielders off balance occasionally, and Kaylee Tao falls victim to it there. She would have taken 1 or 2 steps in and tried to cut off that bad hop. She maybe could have eliminated it, but when she stays back on her heels, unable to come up with that ball.
Prime opportunity for Alex Honnold. Honnold, a good series against Oklahoma City. 2 for 7 with a double and 3 walks. And a 4-game hitting streak snapped last game.
And I feel with the way that she just gets on base, especially as a 3-hitter, it almost gets a little, you don't think about how successful she's been, right? But you just listen to her numbers right there. She's been hitting the ball really well.
On the ground, a second, could be 2. Kuma to Webster, and no relay throw as they get Laird out at second to keep the force in play, and runners on the corners. Defensively, let's look at Chattanooga quickly. Left to right, Alea Logaleo, along with Morgan Smith, Haley Busby, Haley Tao, Sydney Kuma, TJ Webster, and Sarah Mosley. Kaylee Phillips behind the plate, and Shelby Walters. And you were saying, Maria?
I think it's a pretty productive out right there for Alex Honnold, because you're still moving the base runner over to third, and that's one thing that New York has done a good job of, especially in their series against Oklahoma City. Even when they give up runs in that first inning, they don't just lay on their heels. They come right back in the bottom half on the first and get on the board.
The middle infield and double play depth for McKenna Smith. Smith hitting .366 on the year, 4 home runs, 15 RBIs. She homered in Game 2 against Oklahoma City and shown off the pop this year. And she socks out to deep center field. Back goes Smith, looks up, it's gone. Right on cue, McKenna Smith hits her 5th home run of the year, and the Rise go up 3-1.
Shelby Walters tries to throw this off-speed pitch, but it hangs too much over the plate. So McKenna Smith absolutely capitalizes on it straight away to dead center, and that lead did not last long for this team. You see it again, way over that center field fence.
With the wind blowing in, that ball carried out. And there's McKenna Smith, and Smith always talking as well, whether it's to her teammates or herself, and that's got to feel pretty good, certainly after a frustrating series for the team. She gets the Lady Liberty, what would you call that? The torch from Nicole Mendez, yes.
I think that's one of the coolest celebrations. We have to get some more info on where the torch came from. That's our homework for the next broadcast, John. Got to find out who created the torch and whose idea it was.
It was a gift from France.
Ha ha ha.
Sammy Williams at the plate, and the count's even at 1-1. Well, Williams was one of those players that had a good series against OKC as well, 4 for 10. In fact, Sammy Williams was the first player that was signed by the New York Rise. And we're talking to Jeff on last homestand, and he had a pretty interesting story on Williams. He said that was the first player that he reached out to that they signed, and then there wasn't a signing for 2 or 3 weeks. So he just kept Williams in limbo and said, trust me, there's a team coming. I promise you're going to be playing with us this summer, and you'll have teammates. And then 2 weeks turned into 3 weeks, and then eventually they started to come in, and Williams saw the vision that On and the rest of the New York Rise organization had. But it's one of those things where you just have to trust them, and it's paid off for both Williams and the Rise.
Well, how about the confidence of Sammy Williams? Maybe she was thinking, you know what, maybe I could do 1v9. I have the confidence in myself to go up against 9 other players, especially with the way that she hits. But no, all joking aside, I think that's just why the Rise is where it is today, because it's so many people coming together to have the same vision to create something great for the young women on this team, for this community, and all these young girls and fans in the stands.
Williams hitting .267 on the year, no home runs, 10 RBIs, rolls it to short, it eats up Webster, and Williams legs it out. It'll be an E6, and it gets past Tao. 2 errors on the play, and Williams ends up at second.
Good things happen when you hit the ball hard and on the ground. Sammy Williams just laces this one to Webster at shortstop. It eats her up a little bit, and then how about the awareness once she sees that overthrow to make it to second base?
You know, we'll take another look at the play, or we don't have that there. But either way, we're talking to Amy Davidson, the head coach, now in the circle, talking it over with her team, and that was the biggest thing that she said. Sometimes if it was a 5-inning game, the results would be different, but with such a young squad, professionally, they have to go through these growing pains, and already 3 errors in the first inning.
Yeah, it's a young squad, and it's a lot of young women playing pro softball for the first time, and you know, when you look at the people on all of these teams, they're so talented. It's some of the best softball players in the country. So with that comes a little bit of nerves, right? So you're trying to adjust to all these new things, a travel schedule, living in a new city. And then in addition to that, you're playing people who rarely make mistakes on the opposing team. So it's just a little bit more nerve-wracking, and just takes a little bit until you can clean it up and get a feel for it.
Pops off the glove of Phillips, and a pass ball allows Williams to go to third.
But you know what? All of these young women probably went through a similar thing when you make that transition from high school to college. I mean, I know my freshman year is one I'd definitely like to forget. But without those freshman years or your first years in the pro, you don't become the player that you are later in your career, right? So I think that if they can track some of those memories from when they were freshmen in college and use them at this pro level, they're going to be able to find, hey, look, I can certainly do this. I have all these other women and coaches on my side to make me successful, and I think that it's going to happen, right?
Oh, certainly, and you just have to go through it. That's the only remedy to it. You can't practice mid-game. You can't make substitutions. This isn't a deep team to say the least. They've only got 15 players on the roster. Most of the teams have 17 and 18 players on their roster. They only utilize 3 pitchers. So the benefit of playing for this team is that you're going to play, and you're going to play a lot. So with that repetition, it'll make you into a stronger ball player. 2-1 the count to Caroline Wong, and there's one of your daddy cuts, puts it right back to the netting, 2-2.
Daddy hack.
Yes, sorry.
We can make that a new lingo. We're going to keep track. For anybody just joining the broadcast today, we are keeping track of different ways and names for home runs and big swings. So daddy hack is one of my personal favorites, and it looks like John is introducing daddy cuts, but we'll see what else we have coming in the next couple of games.
2-2 the count, and it's rolled just foul. Neither Adam Leap or John Cambridge signified that it was foul, so Wong was just standing at the plate.
Hey, she's catching this game. You don't want to waste any steps, right?
Two coming. 3-2.
You know, McKenna Smith hit that pitch that was more of an off-speed from Walters, and I think that you've seen her not utilize it quite as much, and I think that hurts her a little bit because it is quite effective, and now she's trying to go to some of the fast stuff, especially on that outer part of the plate, and not hitting that spot like she wants to.
Payoff pitch. Floated foul.
Another thing, too, is she is spinning it well, right? You see it so many foul balls, but that's exactly it. The Rise are fouling so many pitches off and having these long at-bats and keeping her out on that mound even longer.
Walters comes home with a 3-2. Hit up the middle. Kuma's there. The run will score as Kuma throws out Wong, and it's 4-1.
That's a quality at bat, though, right? Walters puts that ball in the lower outside part of the plate, and Wong does what she can with it with 2 strikes and hits it the opposite way. When she hits it the opposite way, that allows a run to score. So I think that's what it means to be on a team. Even though you don't get the hit, it's going to hurt your batting average, right? Your team gets a run, and that's the ultimate goal, is to win games.
So the bases are empty for Nicole Mendez. Third straight start for Mendez, and has not been the season that Mendez was hoping it would be statistically, but there's a lot of potential, and for Rodney McCray, he knows what's in there and what lies for Mendez. Obviously one of the best players in Sooner history, and trying to elevate that at the pro level. Chops it on the ground to second. Kuma, another opportunity, and throws it away. Mendez is aboard, makes the turn, throw from Phillips, not in time. She gets under the tag from Webster. And perhaps that's what starts to spark Nicole Mendez.
Well, you know, she's been having some really great at-bats. A couple walks in that series against the Spark, and just, again, longer at-bats. Here, she has speed. She chops this ball to second base, and look at her get on her horse. She knows that she has a chance to beat it out. Even though it's an error, she has the awareness to see that ball, and immediately goes to second base. So even though she hasn't been getting as many hits as she might like, she's having good at-bats, and that's a result of that.
Someone who had a good at-bats at the plate right now, Riley Blampede, a 2 RBI single yesterday afternoon. And she shot it into right field. That made it a 6-3 game, and for the Rise, it would ultimately fall by that score, but kept the line moving, and for Blampede, now in the 8-hole, trying to get above the Mendoza line and takes a strike at the knees, 1-1.
It was another good at-bat, too. Fouled off a bunch of pitches and then went with it the opposite way. And I think that's what all of these games are for, right? They're heading to Chattanooga for that tournament at the end of the season. You want to figure out how you can be playing your best softball at that time. So even if you're not winning every single game, can you win an inning? Can you win an at-bat? Can you win a pitch? That's the mentality that you're bringing to each and every game.
It's been a long inning for Kaylee Phillips and the rest of the team. The pitch Right back up the middle, picked up on a line. And the inning is over, but 4 errors in the inning lead to 4 runs. Capitalized by a 3-run home run by McKenna Smith. 4-1 rise going to the second on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. Some youngsters from Howard Beach and Bethpage taking in sights and sounds of New York Rise softball here in the second inning.
You know, it was so much fun before the game. I caught up with some of those young girls, and they were so excited to be here. They wanted to do a video, so we made one. Make sure everybody goes and checks that out. But the team then interacted with it as well. It's just so cool to see all these young girls and young fans in the stands. And as the team said, especially on social media, this is what it's all about, right? That's what we're doing it for these young girls to see that they one day can be on one of these teams on this field.
One player to look up to is Morgan Smith, who is ahead in the count 2-0. One of the best two-way players in Rutgers history, played for 2 seasons with the Scarlet Knights after starting her career at LSU. And 3 straight out of the zone from Shanice Dells, who got 2 ground outs and a pop out in the first inning. Rio on the inner half, 3-1.
And you know, Morgan Smith has such a cool story. There was a podcast earlier in the year that she did with Softball America where she just kind of talked about her journey from LSU to Rutgers and just how she found her love for softball again. So I think, again, you should definitely go listen to that because she speaks so eloquently on the topic. But she just basically said how she found Rutgers and how she was able to fall in love with it again and just do so many different things with the sport. And you see her having success.
Caroline Wong hauls it in to retire Smith. Good job by Dels, who was behind in the count 3-0 and got Smith to pop out. I think that's the best thing that's happened to the NCAA, at least in the last decade, if not my lifetime, has been the transferring and finding a program that suits you. Now, listen, everyone can talk about all the back channels and how that works behind the scenes, and I get it. And if you think that this is the first time that's ever happened, I got a bridge to sell you. But Aaliyah Logaleo hits it on the ground to short. Jenna Laird's up with it to retire Logaleo. But it is, sometimes you think a program is for you, it's not, but having an opportunity to go somewhere else and play right away can certainly remedy that, and you could fall back in love with the sport you grew up with.
Well, I also think that, you know, when we're talking about the transfer portal, you also have to think about mental health too, because I think that's one thing that so many people are finally paying attention to, because it is so important for student-athlete mental health, and to have that opportunity to go to somewhere else that maybe would be better for your mindset, I think is so important. And I think that's something that college athletes didn't have before, and you see it play out so well for so many student-athletes, and I think I'm glad that it's a thing now.
Haley Busby skies this one foul out of play into the parking lot. Busby, another one of those transfers as well, played for Virginia and Oklahoma State in her college career. First team All-Big 12 selection in 2021 and was also named an NFCA third-team All-American. Born in St. Louis, she's the daughter of former Cardinals pitcher Mike Busby. 1-1, 2-1. Hit right up the middle and through for a base hit. And Busby's on with a 2-out single, snapping the streak of 5 straight hitters retired by Dels.
And this is how this team needs to find themselves back in the game, is just chipping away against Shanice Dels. That's a really good job by Busby. That pitch was lower in the zone. She just got her barrel down to it, hit it right back where it came from.
So here's Allie Cummings from Miami of Ohio. Count 1-0.
And if you followed college softball this year, you know one thing that comes out of Miami of Ohio is home runs. They were incredible this year, breaking all kinds of records, and I think that Allie Cummings will do a little bit of that herself.
Yeah, second in school history with 66 home runs.
Is that a lot?
That's quite a handful. Line to second. Williams plucks it out of the air, and the inning is over. Dels works around the 2-out single. 1.5 in the books, 4-1 New York, the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Doc Gittin, and you're watching the New York Rise.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
Best mascot in the league, double play, pumping up the crowd on a Friday night here on Long Island. And the crowd pretty happy with what they're seeing so far. A 4-1 lead for the Rise. They sent 8 batters to the plate last inning. Chattanooga committed 4 errors, and it'll be 9-1-2 due up for New York against Shelby Walters, who, to her credit, got the ground balls, just her defense did not help her out.
Yeah, I mean, she has that drop ball that is very effective, and she threw it on the edges where she needed it to be. But as you said, John, just not making some of those routine plays, especially some of those short hops that I'd like to see some infielders charge.
So it'll be Sydney McCray to lead things off for the Rise. McCray back in the starting lineup for the first time since Monday night. As McCray is speedster and critical to get her on base and get her going, especially with the playoffs coming up next week. To look at her as a double leadoff hitter, especially late in games when you've got Treeweiler and Laird to follow. If you have McCray and Blampede as well, who have good speed, if you have them on the base paths for your big boppers and Treeweiler, Laird, and Honnold, there's no reason to believe that New York can't make a run.
And it helps, too, because you have Treeweiler and Jenna Laird as those left-handed hitters, so you get McCray on. She has a better chance of stealing second base with right-handed catchers.
Brooke Yanez was warming up in the Chattanooga bullpen. Yanez from coming from the left side, and Walters the right-handed pitcher. One. 2-1. Good take from McCray.
And you mentioned McCray not playing in that last series. That 7-8-9 spot, that's something that Crash McCray told us he likes to rotate around a little bit. He's still trying to figure out who he wants in those 3 spots, especially when they head to that final tournament. So I think that, that's why you're seeing Sydney McCray back in the lineup today. Could she be one of those people in those final spots?
And what's going to separate him is the hitting, because you've got 2 equal fielders out there. Blampede can do a good job in right field. Now with Malkin out of the lineup, you can play the 2 of them in the outfield, which means you're gaining a lot of speed out there. 2-2, just missed inside.
And some of it, too, isn't even who's hitting the best at the time. It could also be matchups, like who hits better against a rise ball pitcher versus who hits better against a drop ball pitcher. And then on the defensive end is who's pitching for you, right? Is it somebody who leaves the ball up in the zone where hitters are going to go gap to gap and you need some faster outfielders? So I think it'll be interesting to see who ends up in these spots as the games progress.
Webster throws out McCray for the first out of the second.
That's a great response defensively from Webster and this team as a whole because, you made a couple of those errors in that first inning. How do you adjust? How do you bounce back from that? And I think Webster does a good job of getting out number one.
Well, so that'll bring up Ashley Treeweiler, who is one of the participants in the Champion Cup Home Run Derby next week, joining Ryan Henry and Lenny Malkin. For Chattanooga, they'll have Sarah Mosley, Alea Logaleo, and Kaylee Tao. And we saw the power of Katie Kistler, Allie Newland, and Sierra Frazier for Florida as well. As Treeweiler hits it in the gap, right center field, and it one-hops the wall. Ashley Treeweiler slides into second with another extra base hit.
How about that celebration from Ashley Treeweiler? I love it. I asked her the other day, too, what have you been eating for breakfast? You see, it must be something that's providing a lot of pop because she gets that right in the gap and slides in safely to second base. Although, I will say, whatever she ate on the night she hit 2 home runs, she should maybe repeat that breakfast again tomorrow. Just missed that one.
Maybe we should join her for breakfast. That'll, up our game as well. I mean, everyone's trying to get better in every category,
Yeah, I know. That might be able to help us. Maybe we'll broadcast better games if we eat the same thing that Ashley Treeweiler eats for breakfast.
Whatever the regimen she's on. So if that's cold plunges, if it's food, if it's biking, whatever it is, I'm all in.
She's a reader. She reads a lot. I know that. I don't know what she's reading right now. We'll have to ask her that as well.
Here's Jenna Laird. Takes on the inner half for a strike. 1-1. You a reader as well, or?
Yeah, I like to read. I haven't had as much time recently, but I've always been a little bit of a bookworm. I like to write, too. And then, clearly, I like to talk, but, I don't know if people like hearing me talk, but that's
You got the whole trinity.
Yeah, right?
Off the glove of Phillips, and that'll allow Treeweiler to go to third on the wild pitch. Second wild pitch uncorked by Walters.
And it's tough because she's throwing a lot of those drop balls that have that downward spin, which is really tough to keep in front if you're a catcher. I mean, you've been catching Walters for a little bit now, right? So you're learning how to do it, but again, it's just fast as well. So that down spin with speed makes it really tough.
Left side of the infield pulled in against Laird. Sydney Kuma playing back at second.
And it'll be interesting to see, too, where Walters places this pitch because if Laird does turn on it, that could allow Treeweiler to score, even if it is a ground ball right to second base.
Poke foul into the dugout.
That's why you see her putting it on the outside part of the plate. And I think that's something that people don't realize is there's so much communication, not just between coach, pitcher, and catcher about what pitches are coming and where they're coming. It's the infielders as well, and then they're relaying that to the outfield. So you know where to position yourself based on where the pitcher is throwing. I mean, you're ready no matter what, but it's always good to be hyper aware.
3-2, inside it hitter. First hit by pitch as Laird trots over to first. And the rise with the runners on the corners. And that'll be the end of the road for Walters. We saw Yanez warming up, the Oklahoma Sooner. We'll just wait for the dotting of the T's and crossing of the I's, but Davidson speaking to home plate umpire Alex Leap. And heads out to the circle, and Walters' day is done. 4-1 the lead for the Rise. New pitcher when we come back on the Varsity Media Sports Network. You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Gotta love the vibes here at Bill Edwards Stadium, specifically for the Rise.
You see Nicole Mendez leading the charge in there with the dance moves. She's always bringing the energy, whether it's on the field, on the bench. I mean, and just in life in general, she is such a big personality, so much fun to be around, and definitely leading the cheers, the chants, and the dances in the dugout.
So Brooke Yanez comes on, or Yanez, excuse me, from Ventura, California. The southpaw comes in a hot spot. Runners on the corners, already trailing 4-1, and only one out. 3, 4, 5 due up in the order. And she'll face the lefty Honold, and then you've got back-to-back righties in McKenna Smith and Sammy Williams. This inning started with a ground out, and then a double by Ashley Treeweiler, and Jenna Laird was hit by a pitch. Shelby Walters started this game, went an inning and a third, gave up 4 runs, only 2 of them earned on 3 hits. And did not walk a batter, but also no strikeouts. Honold pops it up on the first pitch. Mosley settles underneath, and a queen size out number 2.
When you're coming in relief, you want to get that first out. It's so crucial. Yanez spinning the ball well and getting a pop out for the second out of the inning.
Well, here's McKenna Smith. She had the big knock in the first inning, a 3-run home run to center. Now, I like the participants that the Rise have for the home run derby, but Smith, you can make the argument. She shoots the first pitch to deep right field. That's off the wall. And Smith with a long single as Treeweiler comes in. Relay throw. Laird comes in ahead of the tag. And Smith takes second on the throw. Another 2 ribeye steaks for McKenna Smith.
You know, if Ashley Treeweiler is seeing the ball as a beach ball, I think McKenna Smith is doing much of the same. This one laced into right field, and great base running here by all 3 Rise base runners. You see both runs come around to score, and McKenna Smith, when she sees this throw goes home, she immediately takes second base.
And heads up base running by Laird, too, noticing that the throw was going into second.
I love good base running.
Crash for Cray has to love it, too. Probably the most animated coach in the league. Sammy Williams takes a strike.
You know, we were talking about Nicole Mendez's personality and how much fun she is to be around. Crash McRae brings much of that same energy, always talking, joking around, and just loving what he's doing out there.
Williams lines a foul. And there he is, of course. Crash, like we mentioned, affectionately named Crash for crashing into that outfield wall in 1991 as part of the Chicago White Sox organization. Oh-2 in the dirt, smothered by Phillips.
We talked about how difficult it is to keep some of those balls in the dirt in front, and Phillips just doing a great job of moving laterally, getting down to her knees, and keeping that off of her chest.
One, 2. Just missed. Phillips thought she had strike 3.
It's a really good spot by Yanez, just painting the corners, and especially with the way that these Rise hitters are hitting anything that's even remotely over the place, you really hope to get that pitch.
Yanez with the 2-2.
Yanez spins the ball really well, and she has a pretty big arsenal. We haven't even talked too much about it, but she does have a changeup, a little bit of a rise and a curve. Her go-to will certainly be that drop ball, though.
Two-time All Pac-12 selection, second team honor in 2023. 2-2. And it goes over us.
And the thing with her, too, is the spin. You see all these foul balls. I mean, we've talked about the tight spin, but watch the way that she starts that rise ball lower in the zone. It just keeps going up.
Couple of shakeoffs from Yanez. 2-2. Just outside.
You see Phillips hold the glove there for an extra split second. Not getting that call on the outside half.
Yeah, Adam Leap, the home plate umpire tonight. He was the home plate umpire on Monday night. There's some frustration with Jalen Ford and a couple of the Rise pitchers as well. Full count. And it's looped foul.
And as a pitcher, you just need to make the adjustment, but it's much easier said than done, right? Because it's very frustrating. You don't want to bring the ball over the heart of the plate where somebody can crush it. So you see Yanez working here, trying to get that outside corner, because if she can get people looking at that, it's going to set up her other pitches.
And we'll do it again. This is the fourth 3-ball count for Williams, and already 9 pitches. Yanez to Williams.
And you know, I said I wanted to see the Rise bring the offense that they brought in Game 2 against the Spark. They did that by doing what they're doing at the plate right now, and that's taking a lot of pitches, being disciplined.
Tenth pitch of the at-bat. Skied in the air, right center field. Morgan Smith and Haley Busby, and Busby makes the catch. And the inning is over, but McKenna Smith's 2 RBI single gives New York a 6-1 lead going to the third on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs, or call 516-403-2050. Sun's starting to set here, and Hofstra and the Crows are out as well. It's interesting. Every night around 8 o'clock, there's just a bunch of birds that go over the David S. Mack exhibition complex. It's almost as if they have the permit and they've got a rec basketball league going on.
You know what I think we should do? We should put a drone camera on some of those birds and get really good shots of the field to use on the broadcast.
I'm just going to say this now, and I've heard that drones are not allowed at Hofstra, so we cannot do that, unfortunately.
Darn. Even if we put them on the birds?
Correct. Somewhere there's some hunky freelance dodo bird of a person who had to deal with all of that.
Oh, no.
But I like the idea.
Okay. Not the worst idea you've heard today? Well,
No, not even close. Come on.
We won't get into that.
Here's Kaylee Phillips, the catcher. It's it shallow left towards the line. Riley Blampede, first opportunity of the night, handles it flawlessly, one away.
Phillips just missed that pitch. I mean, she barreled it up pretty well, but just a little bit too much into the sky.
So back to the top of the order, and it's TJ Webster. Singled and came around to score on the wild pitch. Since that wild pitch, Dels has only allowed the one hit, but has been efficient, pitch to contact. And with a 5-run cushion, you can afford to do that.
It helps, right? When you're pitching from ahead, you can breathe a little bit more. You know that your team has your back, and even if you do make a mistake, it doesn't feel as if it hurts as bad as it does when you're behind.
Flash foul down the left field line.
The Rise infield right now trying to learn from the last time Webster was up, because they were already pulled in for normal slapper depth during her first at bat, but now they're in even tighter, especially Jenna Laird at shortstop where she hit it last time.
Rise is high, 2-2.
I like Dels trying to challenge Webster on that upper inside part of the plate. I think that's a really great spot to throw slappers because you're trying to get them to hit the ball in the air.
2-2 dribbled foul.
Webster on the flip side doing a good job of fighting that pitch off there with that count.
Two. Out to center. Honnold. Easy play. 2 up, 2 down to begin the third.
The easiest way to get a left-handed slapper out is make them hit it in the air. Their advantage is their feet, their speed. You take that all away if you can get them to pop out.
Is that where there's a slapper at the plate you want to utilize that rise more?
Yeah, I personally love using a rise ball against the slapper because it's spinning up. You're trying to get people to pop up, and I think that especially, everyone has a different philosophy on it. I like throwing it on the inside part of the plate because you spin it, it's up, you get jammed a little bit, they're already running at you. It's a really tough pitch to hit. Now, you do have some slappers, right, who power slap, so they're sitting on that inside pitch, so you throw that to the inside part of the plate and they're almost taking the head off your first baseman. So you kind of have to understand who's up to bat and the scout, but a slapper like Webster, who utilizes a lot of her speed and hits those choppers to the left side of the infield, I like that rise ball from Dels there.
Second 3-ball count for Dels. And there for a strike, 3-1.
It's a good take. 3-0, you're down by 5 runs. You need base runners. Unless it's something that you're going to hit to those crows that we just saw fly overhead, then you don't need to swing at it.
Well, sky towards the one of the cuckoo's nest, but I'll just make the count full. And flash foul again.
One thing you'll notice in this league is just the great at-bats from every single player that stepped into the box. I think one thing that you said that you noticed was that there's not a lot of strikeouts, right? It's because these hitters are so elite. They know what they can hit and what they can't.
We'll keep the at-bat alive again.
And even if they can't hit it, you know what they do? Exactly that. Foul it off until the pitcher makes a mistake.
3-2. That's low, ball 4. First walk issued by Dels, and the one-out base runner is Kaylee Tao, and Sarah Mosley steps up to the plate. And a total about face for New York from their first series against Oklahoma City and the home series this week, in that they struck out 23 times in Oklahoma City. In the hole, nice stab by Jenna Laird to keep it on the infield. It'll be an infield single for Sarah Mosley, but how about the range of Jenna Laird?
And that also helps stop runners from advancing any further than they already were going to. Jenna Laird, just so much athleticism. The reason she's able to get to that ball is exactly this. Watch the angle that she takes on it. Drops over her right side and goes deep at a 45 instead of running straight across. You'll see a lot of young infielders just turn and move laterally. That's not how you get those balls deep in the hole, and Jenna Laird, great footwork on that play.
Sydney Kumu grounded out to third, a first time up, takes inside, 1-0. And lofts it foul. 1-1.
And, we were talking to Amy Davidson before the game, and she was telling us about Sydney Kuma, how she had a broken foot, right? And then she's been back in the lineup, and she said even with that injury, she's come back. She's maybe only at 60, 70%, and she's already playing so well. Amy Davidson said, I'm just so impressed that she's that good, and she's not even at 100% right now.
Yeah, quick turnaround time. She got injured in the Super Regional and was out for maybe a month, if that. And, lower body injuries are always fickle, where you don't know how long it could be. Sometimes there could be relapses, or bones don't heal as fastly as you want them to. 1-2 on the inside corner. Strike 3 called. Got her looking. First strikeout for Dell. She leaves a couple on through 2.5. 6-1 New York on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. Bottom of the third inning, and there are more of the friends getting ready for the Friday Night Rec League as well. Do you subscribe to the theory that these are actual federal workers and government officials, or birds are just birds?
I don't think we can get into this on the
all right.
broadcast. I will say that does look a little creepy, though, like something from a horror movie.
For the record, not a no from Maria Trivalpiece. New York Rise fans, at this time, we'd like to acknowledge our good friends at Hofstra, New Balance, Wilson, Azure Transportation, Vincent's Clam Bar of Long Island, Erica Cole Salon, Polsky Sports and Entertainment, Prince Station, Catcher Matrix, and Lululemon. We appreciate all that you do to help support pro women's softball in New York. Rise up. Caroline Wong takes outside 1-0. First clean inning for Brooke Yanez, who came on in relief last inning. Wong with an RBI ground out to second base in her first at-bat. And that one soars over us. 1-1.
A lot of these Rise players are chasing that Rise ball from Brooke Yanez, and she's placing it in a spot where it's really tough to resist. It starts about chest level, and you're like, you know what I can do with this pitch? Crush it over the fence, and then it either rises over your bat or New York is fouling it off behind the backstop.
Just misses. 2-1.
She's still trying to get that pitch on the outside part of the plate to then set up that Rise ball. You can see her a little bit frustrated because she's not getting that call.
Up and in to Caroline Wong, who signed with the team over the weekend. Joined the team Monday, and in the series against Oklahoma City, 2 hits and 10 at-bats, has an RBI. Played at both Oklahoma State and Liberty. The best players in the ASUN Conference, winning the Player of the Year award in 2022. 3-1 pitch. Dips in for a strike. Count is full.
How about the confidence from Yanez to throw that off-speed pitch on a 3-1 count? That just shows you how good and effective she is with it.
Three-two coming. Foul back again.
And it's a good adjustment by her as well, right? Because she's trying to get that outside corner. Not getting it, so what does she do? Use an off-speed, a little bit more over the plate.
Yanez gets the sign, the payoff pitch. Up and in, ball 4. You know, with the 5 full counts that we've had so far, that's the first walk issued by a Chattanooga pitcher. And that'll bring up Nicole Mendez, who reached on an error first time up.
And, you know, for how much walks have played a part in these games, I think that's a big kudos to Chattanooga, because a lot of these pitchers are struggling with finding the strike zone. I think for Chattanooga, their pitchers have done a good job. They're getting the ground balls that they need. They just need their defense to make some of those plays behind them.
Cole Mendez swats the first pitch. Left side, and almost a nice play by Phillips and Mosley. Didn't hang up long enough, and thankfully avoiding a collision as well. It's one of those in-betweeners where you've got the catcher and third baseman full steam ahead.
Yeah, and they both had such great effort and hustle on that play, but as you said, John, it just kind of landed in the middle of both of them, and they were too close to each other for either of them to try to lay out, because that might not have ended as anyone would have liked.
0-1. High and away. Count even at 1-1.
Phillips is doing such a great job back there, too. A lot of those rise balls flying high, and she's just really doing a good job of getting out of her crouch and keeping them in front.
Phillips, one of those local products behind the plate from Ottawa, Tennessee. Say that name 3 times fast. Played for the Lady Vols and then Chattanooga, where she was the second-team All-SoCon honoree this year. Yanez ahead in the count, 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got the changeup that she was looking for. And the first strikeout by Yanez. 1 down.
I love this sequence here from Yanez. She gets that strike call on the outer half, finally, just like she wanted, and then she pulls the pin against Nicole Mendez. And I think that utilizing those speeds and mixing those speeds, just watch the way that she locates this and the difference in speed between that and some of her faster pitches. Just a great job by Brooke Yanez.
Blampede goes around on the first pitch, rise, 0-1. Blampede lined out to the pitcher Walters in her first at-bat. Just off the plate. A ball and a strike. Blampede, who's hitting 185 on the year. 1 home run, 5 RBIs. One. It's high.
You know, watching that rise ball in person, it just flutters to the plate, John. I think that's why some of these rise hitters are chasing it. And the thing is, with that off-speed pitch as well, it flutters. So you can't decipher which one it is, which makes getting timing down on either of those pitches difficult.
And that's up and in. It hits Blampede on the elbow guard. Second hit batter for the Rise. As Wong will move up to second. An opportunity for Sydney McCray to inch up this lead a little bit more with runners on first and second and 1 down.
So if I'm Sydney McCray, I would think about drag bunting here, right? Because you have runners on first and second. So even if you perfectly slap it as you want to, if it goes to one of those infielders on the left side, they're going to get the force at third.
Swings and misses at a first pitch fastball, 0-1.
So she could drag bunt or she could swing away, because that's another way to avoid that slap. Either way, if she's going to slap, she has to perfectly place it through that 5-6 hole. So that's why I like a different option here.
Well, she bunts it right side, nobody home. Tao comes up with it, flips the first, not in time. Miscommunication between Kuma and Tao, and the bases are loaded.
This is why it's so hard to defend against a slapper, especially somebody like McCray. She swings away on the first one, but look at the way that she places it. So second base is going to move to first to try to cover on the square, but McCray is too fast. That is just great textbook softball executed so well by McCray.
So McCray goes into the dugout, and they're going to call her out, saying that she was out of the box. Not sure if we have a replay from the home plate angle, if she comes out, or even something above, but that's the call there, and a big break for Chattanooga.
Yeah, you can see the frustration on McCray's face. We'll see it again where she makes contact.
No, it wasn't safe her out. It was just a matter of if it went, if she stepped out of the box when she made contact. Well, so 2 outs, and now here's Ashley Treeweiler. Takes right down Broadway for a strike, 0-1.
And it's tough, too, because if she made contact, which I'm assuming that's what the call was, she made contact when she was out of the box. She's out. Not only that, the base runners have to return to their original position. So now we're back to first and second with 2 outs now for New York.
And 0-2 to Ashley Treeweiler.
Yana's another good adjustment, moving that ball a little bit more over the plate so that she can get that call on the outside.
Treeweiler single to left in her first at-bat and double to the right center field wall in her second at-bat. 0-2. 1-2.
You see Treeweiler bringing out the slap, and that's something that is so amazing about her. She can hit doubles in the gap and home runs, but she can also drag bunt and slap.
She's been the complete hitter, and with those 2 hits, has to be hitting north of 500 now. She came in hitting 491. 1-2. We'll do it again.
And here's one thing you want to focus on if you're New York, right? You've scored in each of the first 2 innings. You never want to sit on a lead because this is professional softball with some of the best hitters in this game. They can come back at any moment. So I like that New York is continuing to attack offensively and trying to tack more runs on the board.
1-2 pitch. That's high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 6-1 the lead for New York. Runners on first and second. Wong at second. Blampede at first. There's Chattanooga trying to throw up the first goose egg of the evening. 2-2. On the outside corner, got her looking. And Treeweiler strikes out to end the inning. Yanez, a scoreless frame. Let's go to the 4th. 6-1 New York on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Doc Ginn, and you're watching the New York Rise.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
Top of the 4th inning, time for the Macarena. And, of course, like we mentioned, a total experience here for the youth as well. Maria Tribalpiece also doing the Macarena. And how about this? If you come to a game, get some autographs after the game as well.
I love watching this after every single home game. There's so many young fans waiting for autographs from the players. You see Courtney Weiss there signing jerseys of young fans with her last name on them. And just how cool is that you get to see your favorite players, you get to rep their jersey. And as a player, how amazing is it to see somebody wearing your last name on their back?
I'm putting you on the spot. If you had to pick the first player that you would want an autograph.
Oh, no. I like them all.
That's a diplomatic answer, but the correct answer. You can't go wrong. And that's the cool thing about coming to a home game this year, is that there's post-game autographs, usually on the field afterwards, too. So, we saw it nights 1 through 6, basically line up from the right field line all the way down to home plate First pitch to Morgan Smith, hammered to deep left field. Back goes Blampede. She took a home run away. Highway robbery. Riley Blampede for an exciting out number 1.
I love to say that outies or outfielders, whatever you want to call them, matter. And this is exactly why. Riley Blampede does everything correct on this play. She sprints to this ball that is absolutely crushed, finds the fence, waits till the last second, leaps up, and takes it out of the sky. And look at the little ball flip at the end. She's pumped up. She's feeling good about that catch.
Yeah, I'd feel good, too, to take one off the board, especially to Morgan Smith. Alea Logaleo at the plate. Chops it up the middle. Here's Jenna Laird. Nice pick. The throw. The stretch. Not in time. Well, despite not getting the out, New York flashing the leather. But Logaleo legs it out to be the one-out base runner.
Jenna Laird has so much range at shortstop. We saw her take that one away in the hole. This one, she again takes a fantastic angle, dropping to that left side. That ball came up a little bit high, took some time away from her. She had a quick release, but it wasn't in time. But wow, how about her athleticism to even get to that ball in the first place?
Hannah Busby takes strike 1. She singled to center her first at-bat. This place would have exploded if she made that play.
I mean, I was getting out of my chair up here in the press box, so I love good defensive plays. We saw the triple play yesterday. For anybody who tuned in, Oklahoma City made a fantastic, triple play on the ground. And that's what you're going to see if you come to one of these games or if you're watching from home. Just fantastic softball, both offensively and defensively. I'm going to keep saying it, but these are some of the best players in the country, maybe some of even the best players in the world here to compete. So get yourself to a game.
Hit and run is on as that's skied out to right. McCray makes the catch on the warning track, and Logaleo retreats back to first. 2 down in the 4th.
You know, Sydney McCray made that look pretty easy, but that was a shot from Busby, just crushing it the opposite way. But McCray, again, very quick, as we've seen, gets under it easily.
First pitch to Allie Cummings at the knees for a strike. Cummings lined out to the second baseman, Sammy Williams, in her first at-bat. She's got some home run pop as well. We mentioned her place in the Miami, Ohio all-time rankings for home runs as that squirts off the glove of Wong, and Logaleo takes second. They'll call that the pass ball, and now a runner in scoring position for the Steam. Fell right back to the screen, 1-2.
That's a healthy cut from Cummins, and that's something that Miami of Ohio taught for so long in their program. Just those big, aggressive cuts early in the count, trying to put the ball out of the ballpark.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second, the pitch. On the ground to short, Laird was playing back, long throw, and Treeweiler can't make the scoop. And Cummins is aboard, and runners on the corners for the Steam.
It's tough, too, because you have a 6-1 lead. You're trying to keep Shanice Delson there as long as you possibly can. And so when you have some of those plays that are the routine ones that can get you out of the inning, it's a little frustrating when you don't come up with it.
And that's what plagued Chattanooga starter Shelby Walters as well. She got the ground ball. First error charged against New York.
But, you know, it's nothing to tell these players that, right? Because I'm sure their biggest critic and their number one voice is that one in their head that's just like, come on, what are you doing? And so who am I to sit up here and critique some of those, because they're out there just giving their absolute best at all times.
Of course, and Laird and Treeweiler, both of them will be the first to tell you it was their error. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and how about the great plays that we've seen from both of them and just the great hitting as well? Like, 2 of the best players, again, in this league. We've seen it just from their numbers.
Dell's trying to get through 4, and that hits the knee of Phillips, and the bases are loaded. So Chattanooga with something cooking. The bases are loaded with 2 outs for their leadoff hitter, TJ Webster.
You know, we mentioned earlier how this team have a lot of young players on their team, a lot of first-year players on their team, and how some of those nerves come into play. Well, the reverse is true also of New York. They have some first years as well, and I think this game comes down to who makes the least mistakes and who capitalizes on their opponent's mistakes. And this team doing that right here, they're getting the base runners on. Can they capitalize on the mistakes of New York?
Well, they're going to have to, especially as we get to the middle and later portions of this game. Best scoring opportunity for Chattanooga. And a 0-1 count. And Webster jams it foul.
Well, that was another thing that Amy Davidson told us before the game was a key to winning is timely hitting. She said, look, we're getting some base runners on, but we just haven't had that one big hit to push them across. Here's one of those situations. Can they finally break out of that and get that timely hit?
Logaleo at third, Cummins at second, and Phillips at first, and sprayed foul again.
And, you know, if I'm Chattanooga, I don't think there's anybody else I would rather up right now than TJ Webster because she's just done such a great job of putting the ball in play and having good at-bats. You see even now she's 0-2, but she's just fighting everything off.
Oh-2. Skied in the air out to center. Should get him out of it. Huddle's there, makes the catch. And the Steam leave them loaded. We're halfway home. 6-1 New York on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs or call 516-403-2050. Full moon horizon here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's been all New York in the Big Apple. 6-1 the lead over Chattanooga. Alongside Maria Trivalpiece, I'm John Perez. And a really cool event last night, Maria, as well for the Chattanooga Steam. New York Rise and Oklahoma City Spark meeting at the marina over in Flushing, Queens, having dinner on a boat and really drawing up that camaraderie as this league continues to try and grow here in the AFP.
Well, we talked earlier about the community here in New York, right? But all across this league, towns and communities are coming together to support pro softball, and I think it was such an amazing event last night because now all the teams were coming together to support the common goal that they're all working towards. And, you know, we had a chance to talk to Amy Davidson about it, too. A lot of the players on her team have never been to New York, so they got to go on this great dinner cruise across the city. They saw the Statue of Liberty. They got to explore some things, all while also celebrating the sport of softball and what they're doing to make this league more powerful.
Yeah, including, and I guess you could call her the local product, but Morgan Smith was the tour guide as well, of course, playing at Rutgers. I wouldn't exactly say Piscataway is New York, but she was the guide, as that's grooved in there for a strike to Jenna Laird. But, hey, she knows the area. I'm sure they would travel up and, you know, whether you're playing St. John's or LIU or whatever, have a road trip. I'm sure there's a shuttle bus up to the city, but she was the tour guide for her Steam teammates.
I think it was funny when Amy Davidson said that Morgan told them all, don't worry, don't be scared. It's not as scary as you might think it is. And it's funny because as you know, John, we've been in this area for a while, right? We've lived here before, different things like that. So we just think the city is so normal, and we've seen the Statue of Liberty and all these different things. But to watch some of these young women just take it all in for the first time, it was something that was really cool to see.
And they said it was better in person than how it's portrayed on TV. So
yes,
we should never forget it.
Absolutely.
Jenna Laird reached on an error and then was hit by a pitch. Came around to score in the 2-run second inning. 6-1 the lead for New York. 2-2. It hit her again. An elbow guard getting its money's worth.
And you know, one thing that people don't realize if you're just a casual softball fan is that a lot of coaches actually teach you how to get hit by pitches. So there's a little bit of a skill to it as well, and Jenna Laird just doing a good job of not moving her body, right? We're talking about capitalizing on the other team's mistakes. If Chattanooga is going to bring it inside on you, just stand there, take it. That's a base runner.
And so Honnold is at the plate now, and time is called. Honnold reaching on a fielder's choice and popped out to the third baseman, Sarah Mosley. And takes strike one.
I love when Yanez uses that pitch. It's a little bit of a curveball on the outer half of the plate. She's starting hitters with it and getting ahead because then that utilizes her ability to be able to come back with that off speed or even go up with that rise ball.
And changeup just misses.
We use the phrase pulls the pin from the changeup a lot, but I think that you physically can see what that looks like with the spin on Yanez's changeup because it falls into the strike zone. It's really cool to watch.
A fastball jammed foul.
Probably not fun to hit, though, or attempt to hit, right?
No, not at all, especially with Yanez, who had so much success in her college career. UC Davis, and was just a fantastic lefty. Like we mentioned, the all Pac-12 selections and really trying to solidify this staff for Chattanooga. 1-2. Runner goes, popped up. And will reach the seats. Or go over the seats into the trees.
We've seen a lot of foul balls go over the seats into the trees, and every single time there are screeches from our young fans. But I think it just shows how energized they are to be here, how excited they are, and how they're going to fight to go get those balls that are going foul over the trees.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The screeches are usually followed by the pitter-patter of 6 or 7 elementary school kids racing to the parking lot to grab the foul ball.
You know, when I would go see Little League games, there's a Little League ball field where I grew up. It was a free slushie for every foul ball. So kids would be fighting to the death to get that foul ball. It's a little dangerous, if you can imagine.
Well, if there's anything worth dying for, it's a slushie. Runner goes in the dirt. Throw down to second's a good one, but not in time as Laird steals the base.
She's athletic defensively, athletic at the plate, and incredibly fast on the base pass. She got such a great jump on that pitch. And, you know, when Yanez is throwing a lot of those off speeds, that's a great time to capitalize and steal bases because it's taking a little bit longer to get to the catcher, gives you more time to get from base to base.
Strike 3 called. Yanez picks up her third K. Second looking as Honnold's retired for the first out, and that brings up McKenna Smith.
Well, with a runner in scoring position, McKenna Smith is who you want at the plate. So much power and hitting gap to gap right now as well.
Yeah, hit a tank to center field, a 3-run home run. Didn't matter if Blampede was out in center field or not. And takes outside 1-0. Follow that up with a 2 RBI single to right in her second at bat. Another runner in scoring position for Smith, looking for her third hit of the game. And ahead in the count, 2-0. 2-0 pitch. And Smith taking all the way.
You need to take that pitch 2-0. It's a little bit outside where you can swing at it, but maybe not until you get 2 strikes.
One thing with Smith is she has good plate discipline, doesn't strike out a lot. And ahead in the count, 3-1.
You know, Phillips does a really good job of framing a lot of those pitches as well because they're even farther outside than you might realize. She did a really good job of getting that glove in a good position.
Three-one coming. Slashed out to deep right field. Busby goes back, and it's high off the wall. Smith with another hit. Laird rounds third. She comes in to score. It's a double for McKenna Smith. Another RBI. She's driven in 6 so far. 7-1 New York.
There's a lot of people who teach how to hit an outside pitch. I think that if I was going to show a young athlete how to do it, I would just show this video right here of McKenna Smith. Look how far Phillips sets out on the outside part of the plate. She just keeps her hands back. Smith goes with it into right field. More RBIs for her. Wow, is she hitting the ball well.
She's now a triple away from the cycle, and that'll bring up Sammy Williams. And Williams carves it to deep left center field. Smith in the gap, looks up, it's gone! Sammy Williams knocks her first home run of the season, a 2-run shot, 9-1 New York.
Give Sammy Williams the torch and she can raise it up just like she did with that rise ball that was a little bit too high. Watch the way that she absolutely crushes it. This pitch is at her shoulders. Her eyes light up and she sends that ball way over the fence.
That should be the end of the line for Yanez, but all smiles in that New York dugout. And some hugs as well. Winnie Malkin loves that. Malkin saying, hey, give me that energy for the home run derby next week. We'll have a new pitcher coming in for New York. It'll be Morgan Smith as well. And we'll step aside here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. Welcome you back to Bill Edwards Stadium. 9-1 the lead for New York. And Morgan Smith, we talk about her being a great two-way player. Well, now she comes in from center field to try and go the distance. Comes in with 1 out in the 4th inning and the base is empty. Caroline Wong, and the center fielder replacing her is Alea Logaleo. She goes to center, and then a new left fielder as well, and we'll get that to you in a second as Caroline Wong takes a strike, 0-1. And Amy Davidson said she's just so impressed by the strength of Morgan Smith.
Absolutely. I mean, when she comes into pitch, she'll throw hard, 66 to 68 miles an hour. She also has a bit of a changeup, so she works really quickly, fires it in there. After she just played some outfield, maybe took some at-bats, and so I think that's something that makes her so versatile. She is literally a three-way player.
That's Pal Egan, the Florida Gator. out in left field. As Caroline Wong takes high, 1-1. Well, if New York was frustrated after the series against Oklahoma City, they've taken it out on Chattanooga. 9 runs on 6 hits, taking advantage of the 4 errors by Chattanooga. There's a wave and a miss, 1-2. Morgan Smith, of course, first team All Big Ten this year, All Defensive Team the last 2 years in the Big Ten. Smith herself was ranked the #1 two-way player, number 23 overall player by Softball America's rankings. And, yeah, I mean, just speaks for herself in dominant presence.
And, you know, the thing about Smith is, too, when she was at LSU, she didn't have an opportunity to pitch too much, right? So when she got to Rutgers, Kristen Butler, her head coach, had said that it took her a little bit to get back in the swing of things pitching-wise. She was struggling with her command. She couldn't really find the zone because she didn't have those live innings. But eventually she kind of got more of those reps. She started playing better defensively and at the plate. And you see her missing no beats here in the Pro League.
Yeah, goes up the elevator shaft to pick up her first strikeout to the first batter that she sees. And she moves on to Nicole Mendez. So the official line for Brooke Yanez, 2 innings, 3 runs on 3 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. And you could already see the difference in velocity from Smith to her prior 2 pitchers.
Well, that's why you bring her in third, right? Because the other 2, they had velocity as well, but they spun the ball a little bit more. Smith is going to throw more of that hard stuff right at you, a little less spin, but effective nonetheless.
Right back to the mound. Smith, a strikeout and a ground out. 4 innings in the books. New York playing long ball. Sammy Williams, a 2-run home run. Makes it 9-1 going to the 5th on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Doc Ginn, and you're watching the New York Rise.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
Jalen Ford comes on in relief in the top of the 5th inning, and a 9-1 lead for New York as we see Ford for the 3rd time this week with an 8-run cushion. And trying to get the outs in the 5th, 6th, and 7th and give New York its first win of the series.
Jalen Ford, a veteran pitcher. She played professionally in Japan. She actually just came back from pitching professionally in Japan when she suited up for the Rise. So just that transition from the Japanese game back over here to the States. And, you know, she's going to throw between 65 and 67, but the main thing for her is that spin. She has a curve, a screw, but her Rise is her best pitch, and she keeps that up in the zone and works most of her pitches up in the zone as well.
Yeah, great product from James Madison, where she was an NFCA first-team All-American, 2-time CAA Player of the Year, in 2014 CAA Pitcher of the Year.
You know, I was chatting with her yesterday, and I told her, you know, in my first ever college game, I played against you. She was like, what year was that? And I was like, well, I was a freshman. It was 2016. And she's like, we can't tell people that around here. You're going to age us. And we were both chuckling a little bit. And I was like, yes. It's funny when you see some of these players born in the 2000s and you're thinking, oh, my goodness, I'm old.
Yep. Well, I can relate with Ford. I think whoever runs the Rise social media account does a great job, but one of the early videos that they had was training one of the local facilities as the pitch is inside to Kaylee Tao, who's 0 for 1 on the day with a walk. And so they had the vertical jumps on the, what are they, box jumps, right?
Box jumps, yep.
It had to at least be, I don't know. But she won, like cleared every hurdle. Everyone else tried to get up there, and Ford, who is not the tallest player on the diamond, just cleared everyone.
Well, I think that just goes to show about how athletic she is and just the way that she's able to continue to play professionally at such a high level for so long, right? We talked about Michelle Moultrie yesterday, and what did Coach Flores tell us was the fact that she can play.
Well, that's a live ball, and safe is Kaylee Tao after Ford gets the strikeout.
That's always tough when you get the strikeout, but you don't get the actual out. But it's also really good heads-up awareness by Kaylee Tao, right? To be able to know, all right, ball at the backstop, I'm at least going to try to get a base runner for my team. Kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the game about quality at-bats and just figuring out ways to win pitches, win innings, to ultimately win games.
Sarah Mosley hitting 2 at-bats. And Ford misses outside, 2-0.
But back to my point about Ford, I just think it just goes to show how diligent she is with her preparation, the way that she trains, the way that she's just always locked in, and that's why she's been so successful at the pro level for so many years.
Big healthy cut and a miss, 2-1. And the players feed off of that. And she might be one of those silent leaders, but when she gets in the circle, it's all business and can really vocalize. Good changeup, it's 2-2.
A little jump at the end of it as well. Again, that's what she's going to be successful with, is spinning that ball in the upper half of the zone.
Deuce is wild, Tao the runner at first. And we'll do it again. Big breath from Ford. And sprayed foul again. To Mosley.
I think they need to permanently position somebody in the parking lot to get all of those foul balls. Maybe that could be a new job.
Could be.
A specialty, you know.
See if they can turn 2. Williams the flip, Laird, and a 4-6-3 double play.
You know, John, before this, you said, let's see if they can turn 2. When you have Sammy Williams and Jenna Laird up the middle, it's not a question if, it's the matter of how fast can they turn 2. Just look at the smoothness of this flip, staying low to the ground to make sure that she doesn't throw it over Laird's head, and Laird just completing it with the quick release. They're so much fun to watch up the middle.
Yeah, I got Mosley by a stride, and here's Sydney Kuma hitless in 2 at-bats. Struck out looking against Shanice Dells, who went the first 4 innings, gave up a run on 4 hits, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. Wave and a miss. 1-1.
That little bit of screwball with a rise spin to it on that outer part of the plate is really difficult to hit, and Ford locates that so well.
1-1, 2-1. Ford the rock in the fire. And now the count 3-1. Ford, of course, pitching in her first game since Tuesday night. Went the final 2 innings, both scoreless frames. Just allowed 2 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. 3-1 coming. And that's line just foul. Payoff pitch. And that's low, ball 4. First walk issued by Ford, and that'll bring up Morgan Smith.
You know, we've talked about Morgan Smith's defense and her pitching so far, but at the plate, she's taken some good cuts as well.
And we'll get a pinch runner for Chattanooga. So we don't have a 4 on the roster, but of course teams change jerseys all the time, so give us 1 second while we look that up. But so Leah Boggs is the runner at first. And that brings Morgan Smith to the plate. And Smith chops it over the head of Boggs into right field, a base hit. McCray comes up throwing and swiftly gets it into the diamond. But Morgan Smith, who was robbed of a home run last inning, keeps it in the ballpark and picks up her first hit of the day.
Morgan Smith hits the ball so hard to both sides of the field. That one was no exception. She chopped that hard on the ground, as you said. It bounced over the head of her current teammate. And now the Steam, first and second, with 2 outs.
And so it's Aaliyah Logaleo. Lays off the first pitch, ball 1.
And as a hitter, you see that Ford is throwing those right-handed batters on that outside part of the plate. So what does Morgan Smith do? She knows she's going to go with it. That's exactly what she does.
Wave and a miss. Late on that fastball. 1-1. Well, good speed on the base paths. You mentioned the timely hitting of Chattanooga. Well, they had the bases loaded last inning. Shanice Delsk got out of it. Some traffic on first and second with 2 outs, and a hitter's count to Logaleo. 2-2.
She's taking the hacks that you want to when you have runners in scoring positions with 2 outs, right? She's trying to crush that ball, whether it be to right or to left field, but just, again, taking those daddy hacks, as we've called them, to try to bring her teammates home.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Served in the air out to right. Back goes McCray. She's under it and makes the play. Inning over. Another pair of base runners left on board by Chattanooga, but the defense steps up for New York. Bottom of the 5th coming up, 9-1 New York on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Double play, pumping up the crowd. They're loving what they're seeing. A 9-1 lead. So we'll get to that in a second, but Game 2 of the series tomorrow night, coverage beginning at 6:45 p.m. You can watch it right here on youtube.com/varsitymedia. So I put out the bat signal between games 1 and 2 for double play to do the worm. He was doing every other dance move out there. Is there any patented Maria Tribal piece, whether it's a wedding dance or a line or whatever it is, that you're giving out to double play?
You know, I can do the worm.
You do that?
No, I can't do that. I was about to say I heard from a source that double play can backflip. I also heard that double play can breakdance. He just showed us that he can backflip. He hasn't showed the breakdancing yet. We'll see if he can do the worm. I'm trying to think what else. Maybe the Dougie. I feel like he's got some of those moves in him, right? You know what I actually heard double play can do? He's really good at, you know, the lift from Dirty Dancing?
Oh, yeah.
I heard he lifts up mascots, like in the Dirty Dancing theme with his mascot friends.
So we got to get one of his friends here for the final 2 games.
Yeah. I would love to see that.
We'll talk to Harlan Freeland, see if we can get that going. As Riley Blampede takes a strike, 0-1. There are plenty of mascots in the area. Of course, you've got the Met family, Mr. and Mrs. Met, of course. Sparky the Dragon, somewhere. I think he lives in Peter Schwartz's basement.
You're forgetting one of the coolest mascots.
Well, I didn't get to it yet.
Okay, who was
Got
it?
the Devil from New Jersey.
Oh, you're
but I'm getting closer.
Okay.
Just saying, if you keep going down I-95, maybe he comes up here. A lot of green fur. Mr. Fanatic.
No.
Not the best mascot ever, as that's cranked to left field, and Riley Blampede hits a one-hopper to the wall and stands into second with a double. Riley Blampede starting to heat up. It's her first hit of the day, but it's hit the ball hard. 2 of the 3 times she's been up. She was also hit by a pitch as well.
We're getting back to the mascot conversation, but first we got to talk about this hit from Riley Blampede. This ball up in the zone. She just splits both outfielders, almost gets a home run of her own. It lands on the warning track, and then she puts the wheels on and gets into second base. So Riley Blampede having some good hits, coming from good at-bats the last 2 nights. Now, back to the mascot conversation.
Well, here's Sydney McCray with a runner at second. I think I have a better idea of where you're going. And
you were talking New York mascots, and you left the hottest New York mascot out of this whole conversation. And we are talking women's pro sports right now. Ellie the Elephant.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
That's on me. And I know Double Play is close friends with Ellie the Elephant, too.
I would love to see Double Play and Ellie team up. We should put the bat signal out on that one as well.
Yeah.
They should have a dance-off, too, because Ellie has the moves.
Yeah.
Have you seen them before?
I have seen. I have. It's just a mental block on my
It's okay.
part, but
We'll
yes.
forgive you. We'll forgive you.
McCray back to the mound. Smith knocks it down, stays with it, and then throws it up the line. McCray's going to go to second. Blampede comes in to score, and McCray can run for days, makes the turn, but stays at second. He's single and an error as McCray hit that right on the nose. Good job by Smith to knock it down. Would have been a tough play to throw her out, but by getting past Tao, that allowed Blampede to score.
Sydney McCray just showing it she can do it in all ways with the bat. We saw her slap. We saw her do a drag butt. She was called out, but now she shows that she has some pop off that bat as well. And that was a really good job by Morgan Smith, too, to stick with it. Again, she's not going to be able to get McCray because of how fast Sydney is, but still, Smith staying with that.
So Davidson goes out there. Quick conversation with Smith. I'll have you put your coach's hat on. What do you think the message was?
I think she might have been checking on her to make sure she's okay. I think the next message is just keep doing what you're doing, but let's move those pitches a little bit farther off the plate. Those last couple of hitters for the Rise squared those balls up. That means you're leaving it over the heart of the plate just a little bit too much, moving an inch.
Treeweiler, that gets off the glove of Kuma and into center field. Here comes Sydney McCray, throws cut off. Another RBI for Ashley Treeweiler.
Good things happen when you hit the ball hard and down. Ashley Treeweiler, we've seen her hit home runs.
And with Treeweiler, that's the game-winning single. It's the mercy rule in effect. And that does it for New York. They win it 11-1 in Game 1. Ashley Treeweiler with 3 hits. And for New York, a good way to take out your frustrations. An 11-1 mercy rule win.
We wanted to see the offense from Game 2 of that series against the Spark. Well, how about some even better offense, right? 11-1 New York Rise. The bats were hot, hitting it hard on the ground, in the air, pretty much everywhere.
So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll speak to our player of the game right here on the postgame show. The New York Rise win it 11-1 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs, or call 516-403-2050.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Bill Edwards Stadium. It's an 11-1 victory for the New York Rise. They take game 1 of the series against the Chattanooga Steam. We're joined by our player of the game, McKenna Smith, who went 3 for 3, a triple away from the cycle, 6 RBIs. That ball must have looked like a beach ball up there, McKenna. What were you seeing?
Yeah, I think I was seeing it really well, but I think I would have to give it to my team because we talked about it earlier. Kind of had a tough series against Spark. You know, we didn't want to do what we wanted to do, and I think it was a really good learning experience the past 3 days before then. I think as a hitting team, we struggled, but today, I mean, I think we all came out with a plan, and we all agreed that we were here to do the fundamentals right and do everything right, do the little things right, and I think we all did that today. I mean, we had a lot of quality at bats. Even if they didn't really get the result we wanted, we just got runs in. Like, we got them on, we got them over, and we got them in. And I think that was our main goal today, is that we came out and we played softball and we played it effectively, and I think we did that as a team. I get lucky every time you guys are here. I think I do good, so keep coming, and then I'll get more performances. But yeah, I think as a team, I think we did really, really well, just playing the game of softball, which is awesome.
Before I ask you a question, I heard that if you go 3 for 3, you get a brownie. So I'm going to give you that as I ask you the next question. But
Beautiful.
You mentioned the game plan and just, coming back after that loss. How much do you carry that momentum from tonight now into tomorrow?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, the last series was tough. I mean, we were all tired. We got off a plane from Florida, got in really, really late, and we had to play the next day, and we were all on not so good sleep. And then, I think the tiredness just kind of went throughout the series. But we used that series to get better. A lot of times when we get tired, it's easy to be like, all all right, let's just scrap it. Like, who cares? Let's just get this game over. But I think we really took a lot from the last series, and we were like, okay, where can we get better? How can we get better as a defense, a pitching staff, and a hitting unit? And I think we did that. We took a lot away from playing the hitters on defense and putting a little bit better shifts on in terms of reading what we're seeing as a hitter, and then as a pitching staff, I think we were starting to get the rotation and when people can go in and how well people are dealing to certain hitters, and then as a hitting staff, like you saw tonight, like we committed to playing the fundamentals. Nobody's doing anything too extra. I know I get caught up in being like, I gotta hit a home run, and I'm like, it's just better to just be short, quick to the ball, and the ball will go when you make contact. So, and it's not really about hitting home runs. I think this team is just a prime example that we can hit, we can get them on, we can get them over, and we can get them in. We can play the fundamentals of softball really well, and I think we've learned that from tonight. So I think we're going to carry that to the rest of the season for sure.
Lastly, I'll ask you this too. One player who brought it the last 2 games has been Riley Blampede. 2 RBI single yesterday. She robs a home run.
Yeah.
What was your view of the home run? And, when you see her starting to come out of the slump, how much does it inspire the rest of the crew?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even call it a slump because her takes that she has, her active takes, I mean, I wish I had that much of an active take. I mean, she's got the most crazy active takes I've ever seen, and when she makes contact with the ball, that thing flies. So I would rather have her in the lineup all day because she is so effective at getting quality at bats, even if it's a strikeout or a pop-up. I mean, her swing is committed every single time. I've never seen her take a soft swing, like a bad, I've never seen a bad at bat from her, and she's hit so many times in front of me. So she does a great job. I can't tell you how hard she worked. We've had a lot of ups and downs throughout the season, but I mean, she's worked really hard, and it's really, really cool to see her perform because we all know that she can perform. I mean, she's a quality athlete in college, and an even better one to know and to be on the field with. And watching her rob that home run, that thing was sick. Like she got up there for it too. It wasn't like she kind of just ran into the wall. She got up there and brought it back, and it was really cool to see her get what she deserves because she's been working so hard, and she's such a great athlete, such a great person. I'm always in her corner, so I think we all are as a team. So just really excited for her.
Well, McKenna, they're waiting for you. I think you will be the #1 autograph tonight as well. So we'll let you get down there and celebrate with your teammates.
Thank you so much.
That's McKenna Smith, our player of the game, and that'll do it for us here at Hofstra as well. For our entire crew, led by Ben Turchin, Chris Sweeney is here, as well as Becca Kazaks, Kevin Catalanato, and Mike Verdi. For my partner, Maria Tribal Peace, this is John Perez saying so long. It's been a presentation of New York Rise Softball on the Varsity Media Sports Network.